Mason, are you aware of the status of the Flash movie? I can run you through a breakdown of what's been happening with this before we get to the latest bit of news.
Is it a disaster so far?
It's an absolute disaster.
Great. Oh, there's been a whole bunch of director changes.
Yes,
We've
exactly.
discussed this, but I cannot remember any
We
of it.
have, but I'm happy to go through.
Please do.
I have to do a bit of a run-up to get
Every
to where we
episode
are.
of The Weekly Planet is somebody's first episode of The Weekly Planet.
Including yours, because you mostly forget what happened the
Correct.
week before. Okay.
Yes.
So Phil Lord and Chris Miller, they wrote the script. They directed Jump Street, Lego Movie. They're doing the Han Solo movie.
Okay.
Warner Brothers wanted them to come on board as directors, but they dropped out to previous commitments or whatever. Presumably the Han Solo movie, which is starting in March, right? You're going to pick a Star Wars movie over a DC movie,
You absolutely are, yeah.
Especially in this current climate, Mason. After that, Seth Graham-Smith came on board, but he dropped out due to creative differences.
Okay.
People were like, well, that's not good. But
But if he didn't run?
well, I don't know, like, what's the reason for him drop? Like, we don't know the specific reason. Maybe his reason was dumb. Because I remember they talked about, there was one of the people who came on board for Wonder Woman wanted her to have a talking tiger as a sidekick. And I think Warner Brothers put their foot down and went, no, we're not doing that.
What is happening? I was just thinking about it the other day because the last attempt at Wonder Woman was that TV series with Adrian Padalecki as Wonder Woman.
You saw the pilot for that, didn't you?
Yeah. It was mostly finished, and I think we've talked about it before, but briefly, she's got 3 identities for no reason, right? She's Wonder Woman, she's Diana Prince, head of a huge multinational corporation.
Yep.
But she's also a regular girl.
She's her own secretary or
Yes,
assistant
she's
or
got
whatever.
like a mansion where she's Diana Prince and she's in a skyscraper or whatever. But she's also got a little apartment where she puts on like
Her jammy jams.
track pants and jammy jams and a hoodie and just sits on the couch eating ice cream. Because she's just a regular girl as well as being a CEO and a superhero. Because women could do anything.
That's too much going on there.
There's too much going on.
They wanted to Clark Kent it. That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, right.
Just do the Clark Kent thing then.
Yeah.
You don't have to do... Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever.
Just give, rather than, you know what, just give her a friend. That's what she didn't have. She didn't have a friend.
She was her own friend.
Yeah.
She was her own sad sidekick or whatever.
Right?
Great.
God.
Anyway, don't worry though, Mason, because the Wonder Woman movie is probably going to be fine or a disaster, depending on who you talk to. So after he dropped out, Rick Famuyiwa, I never know how to say it.
Famuyiwa.
That's him. He was slated to direct, so everyone's like, great, back on board. Because directors leave. Peyton Reed had to step in for Ant-Man when Edgar Wright left. Steven Spielberg was going to do Return of the Jedi, but he couldn't because of Writers Guild. I can't remember why.
So
Directors
the
Guild.
2 examples you've given are from a while ago and also...
One's 2 years ago, and one was 30 years ago.
Sure.
Yes,
and both of those had one replacement, not a whole bunch of replacements.
Correct. That's right. Rick Famuyiwa, he dropped out. Again, for creative reasons. By the way, this was supposed to start shooting in January.
Yep.
As in the month we are currently in.
That we're nearly at the end of.
Yeah, it hasn't. And now the Flash is currently without a director, but Warner Brothers have brought in Joby Harold to do a page 1 rewrite.
That sounds bad.
Boy, does it.
Now, that doesn't mean... So a page 1 rewrite is rewrite the whole thing from scratch.
Correct. From page 1.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so that's not... It's fully cast. Everyone's waiting to do it.
Right.
They got Billy Crudup as Barry Allen's dad. Obviously, what's his name? Ezra Miller.
Yep.
Who else is it?
Unless
I
he
can't
goes
remember.
trekking off in the Andes or hiking Machu Picchu or something.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, you know
he's
what
a
he's
man
like.
of the world, Mason.
That's
You can't
right.
pin him down. He was great.
not gonna be an actor
He was
anymore.
great at bloody where he had the bowl cut.
Oh,
the
sure.
Harry Potter one
Fantastic
or whatever.
Beasts,
Yeah, he was
yes.
good in that. Anyway, this has got a release date of March 2018. Good luck.
Yeah, right?
That's not going to happen.
No.
What is going on here? Like, I feel like if you've got a Phil Lord and Chris Miller script, they wrote Jump Street the Jump Street movies and the Lego movies.
Everybody loved the Lego movies.
It's probably a good script.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it's not, it's probably okay at worst.
Right, exactly,
Do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
I do.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly check out I'm not saying this guy's a bad writer, but it's so late in the day.
People love Jump Street.
People bloody love
Those
it.
were great.
Oh, that's right. He wrote Awake, which I am not familiar with.
Okay.
He's writing Robin Hood Origins, the Robin Hood Origins movie.
Another one.
Yeah, it's the one with the Taron Egerton, the kid from Kingsman.
Great.
And he's also doing that Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie, which looks terrible. But again, it's probably not his fault if it's terrible. If they're like, write a Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie, what do you, or just write a King Arthur movie. How do you make that good?
Yeah.
You don't. It's not going to be a good movie. Anyway, maybe they should just bring the TV universe. just
Right?
kind of
Yeah.
weasel it into the cinematic universe. So they can't because Justice League is obviously happening and Ezra Miller's in that. Also, this is apparently going to be, or maybe it's not now. It was supposed to be a sequel to Justice League and not an origin. I hope they don't make it an origin.
Yeah, I'm sick of Origins.
Yeah, and we've seen it.
We've
We've
literally seen it like 2 years ago. Yeah.
And you know the Flash TV show. I don't really keep up to date with it, but it's doing a pretty solid job of getting that. It did a solid job of getting that going. Anyway, good luck. You fucked it up though. It's not going to work. What? Okay, we get this question a lot.
Yes.
This is I can't remember from who. Let's say everybody. What movie do you think it would take for them to reboot the universe? Like, what would it take for Warner Brothers to like? Would it take a Ben Affleck leaving? Would it be the Justice League falling down as a project to restart it? What would have to be the thing that?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
My assumption would be that if they finish whatever story arc this is, and it crashes, and assuming that's the thing, if they finish whatever this story arc is and it doesn't do very well and it's not well received,
Yeah.
I would think maybe they take.
I love how you say whatever this story arc is. So you're not because like Marvel, for all their faults, they've clearly been building towards something.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But I guess this is building towards mother boxes.
Great.
Yeah, because we saw one in a deleted scene in the last movie or whatever. Anyway, sorry, go on.
So I think if they get to the end of this, and I think that and it doesn't play out or it doesn't, it's not fine. If it's financially well received, I think they'll just keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, Suicide Squad, even though a lot of people didn't like it and critics kicked it, still did well. Still made $1 billion.
Yeah. Look, I think you know what might actually kill it. I think if they finish the current arc of movies and there's their next one is coming out in a year or 18 months
when they finally get around to fixing the Flash.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, this is coming out in 2019, and then the director drops out, and then they reschedule for another 6 months in the future.
Yeah.
I think they might just be like, you know what, we're going to cancel this one and restart in 2 or 3 years.
So new Superman, new Batman, new everything. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's one of those things where like maybe leave it for 5 years, or do you think they'd be like, well, this comic book bubble's going to burst, so we just got to keep going. We just got to knuckle down. Because you know how much gap there was between this universe and the Nolan universe?
2011 and then
1 year.
1 year.
2012, 2013.
Right.
Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel.
You're right. Yeah.
1 year. So who knows, mate? Aren't movies interesting?
Movies are so interesting. Watching them, talking about them, speculating, making movies, thinking about movies, looking at a TV guide. Oh, there's a movie coming up. Maybe we should watch the movie.
Yeah, man. That's the show for this week, though.
We did it.